So here and now I want to share another idea that I hope you'll find to be quite interesting. Now this idea gives us a framework for understanding the basis of people's decisions, why people make the decisions that they do. I'm not talking about values on a values level here. We're going to look at values in a couple of sections' time. But just on a very, very high light level, what provokes people to make the decisions and choices that they do volitionally on a day-to-day basis. All right, so feelings, faith, and facts. What provokes your decision-making, my friend? All right, let's just have a conversation, shall we? Let's just think about someone that you know. All right, not you, of course, someone else. It's easier to focus on someone else and other people at times, isn't it? Let's just look at someone who you know as just being inconsistent. Someone that you have in your life that you just wouldn't trust or count on to be there for you. There's a pretty good chance you already have someone in mind. Maybe a parent or a family member or a brother or a sister or a boss or a colleague or someone who's just completely immersed in their own experience all of the time, or most of the time anyway. And if I was to now ask you, just to really focus in on, look at the reasons why you wouldn't trust this person. Is it because they are consistent and responsible and relatable and all this kind of thing? Or is it because they're perhaps a little bit emotionally inconsistent, emotionally turbulent, up and down like a yo-yo, something like this? Well, have you ever heard the story of the wise man who built his house upon the rock? There was a song, wasn't there? The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the rains came tumbling down. And when the rains came down, the floods went whoosh. The floods came down and okay, whatever that song was all about. Basically, the principle is this: that sometimes the foundations that we build and base our life upon aren't particularly strong. All right, let's relate on strong life foundations to our emotions. Some people base their decisions upon how they feel. All right, so if a person is feeling good one day, they're feeling great, and the next day they're not feeling so great, and life is bad, and then the next day they feel good, so life is good, and then the next day they feel bad, so life is bad, and then the next day they feel good. And it's okay if you're catching these people on good days, isn't it? Because there can be a pleasure to be around and really exciting and all that kind of stuff. But when you get them on bad days, what we're talking about here is character and emotional inconsistency. And here's the thing, let's just link this idea back to the previous video, self-esteem. Many people determine the quality of their lives by how they feel on a day-to-day basis. But we can't look to our emotions as being an indication of the quality of our lives. Why? Because our feelings come and go. They do come and go. They can one day be up, next minute be down. And if we are not owning our thought processes, if we're not thought policing, remember, police your thoughts. If I get my Bobby's helmet back on again, you remember, I looked silly, didn't I? If we're not policing our thoughts, then of course we're not going to be managing our emotions. All right, so emotional inconsistency is a great reflection of the fact that a person is not self-regulating particularly well, managing their cognitions. All right, so feelings, definitely not a particularly strong foundation to be building and basing our life upon. But then you have a different type of people. You've got people of faith. Now, I've used this word faith a couple of times throughout the course so far, and I like the word faith. I would say I'm a man of faith, all right? But is my faith naive? All right? Is my faith ignorance-based? No, it's not, all right? But I do know many people whose faith is ignorance-based. And I think I'll probably use the same story that I shared earlier on, and I think in the last section, maybe the start of the last section, when I had that experience in that church group that Karen used to go to, and they were all there every week. They were praying and chanting and flying flags and all this kind of stuff. And they would pray and they were in faith that God would bring all these people into their congregation and into their mix so that they could save them and heal them and lead them in life and all the rest of it, whilst going absolutely nowhere, because the leader wasn't actually leading them anywhere apart from to get their hands in their pockets to pay more money to keep the church building in existence and him in a job. Oh dear. Did I just say that on national television? Oh dear. So here's the thing, right? Sometimes we have future-based visions and goals and expectations, and we're in faith for these things to happen. But here's the thing, unless faith is being matched with action, then our faith is dead. All right? And I've known many people, to be in faith is kind of like what we talked about. Remember I told you that story about the book The Secret earlier on. It's a nice idea, just manifest things into existence through our thinking. If we just, think and focus on something long enough, then it will happen. No, this is called... this is crazy, right? It's crazy that it's completely unpractical. And I'm not saying that we need to understand everything that happens to us in life, but if we have goals, if we have a tangible, meaningful vision for our future, then if we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. It's wise to have action steps and plans in place so we can actually monitor and gauge the progress that we're making, because it's that can give us the confidence to continue on our paths, on our missions and journeys, and keep us pursuing our goals. So sometimes faith can be ignorance-based, or just nice idea, or fantasy-based. And how this looks is when a person's operating from this place of faith, saying, yes, my life's just going to work out well. I've just set up this business. If I open it, they will come, and all that sort of thing. And if we don't have a plan, then faith is going to get us so far. But if we reach a certain point where we don't get that outcome or that result or that consequence or whatever, then we're going to end up boom. We're going to end up crushed, and our faith will be devastated. Faith's great. Faith can serve us in life if we have a plan and some action steps and a goal and a sense of purpose or a vision for our future. Yeah, we need faith. We need faith to actually move forward. But moving forward is us taking action. Faith and action must go hand in hand. Faith on its own and in isolation without us taking action is just a mark of ignorance. All right, did I just say that again? Oh dear. Right, so here we go. It kind of looks like this. And don't get me wrong, a person can lose their faith overnight and choose a new religion, and then they can get their faith back, they get new beliefs, and they get excited about some stuff. But what I'm saying is faith generally leads a person to live extreme highs, extreme lows. Similar to a person who builds and bases their life upon a foundation of feelings. Again, it's extreme highs and extreme lows, complete inconsistency, but these are like extreme, where a person can be okay for a while. I've never known too many people who are building and basing their lives upon faith and faith alone who aren't highly strung control freaks. Why? Because they are constantly expecting things to work out the way that they want them to. And remember, right, this walks hand in hand with this idea that it's not what we find in life that disappoints us the most. It's generally just when our expectations aren't met. So faith often walks hand in hand with expectations. Expectations don't always walk hand in hand with actions. All right. And this is where we want to get wise, and we want to be evaluating the foundations upon which our clients and those other people that we're going to be serving are basing their lives upon. Because I like to build and base my life upon facts. Right? Why? Because facts are facts, aren't they? Facts can't be changed. So, for example, I have a goal. I want to build this online international academy of multidisciplinary practitioners who just understand the essence of what it means to be alive and serve their clients in a positive, meaningful way, in an affordable way. It's free from gurus and wizardry and all this kind of stuff. And I want CBT to be understood in a real practical level, not this overly complicated way that academia has delivered it over the years, overcomplicated the human experience. That's my vision, this is my goal, that's why I create a course like this. And the facts of the matter are that I can do this, and I am doing it, and that the facts are also that, this course might flop. No one might enroll, people might not like it, people might not like me, but the facts also are that if I just do my best, if I'm just me, then someone somewhere might benefit, which is a win, which is a success. And here's the thing, right? When we build and base our life upon facts, the truth of who we are, the truth of who we aren't, when we're free from cognitive biases and assumptions and personal prejudices and cognitive distortions, which are all unfacts, generally provoke unhealthy feelings, we can become more grounded in truth. The truth about what we actually want, the truth about what we really want to accomplish or achieve, or the difference that we want to make, the truth about what we are here to fulfill. And life might, for a while in our client's life, still look like this, especially if a person has been operating from a foundation of feelings for life. But see, over time, right, when we build the facts and the truth into our life, in time, life balances out for us. And I'm talking emotionally here, right? I'm talking emotionally, because if we're not living emotionally balanced lives, then we're not living balanced lives, and we're certainly not going to be living lives that are in any way attractive or appealing to other people. Remember, if a person isn't finding us to be consistent in their eyes, then they're not really going to trust us. All right. So, what are the facts? What are the facts in our lives? Well, the only real relevant facts are the truth of who we are, what we're capable of, the fact that we're only ever one strategy away from doing anything that we want to. And these are very light, very high level ideas. They are, but these are the kind of ideas that give us the hope that we sometimes need to exercise faith that provokes us and spurs us to take action. All right? And that's it. All right? There's nothing really complex here whatsoever. But just acknowledge and just be mindful of the fact that people will be building and basing their decisions upon something. And the question that you need to answer early on in a CBT-based helping relationship is what are they basing their decision-making on? Feelings, faith, or facts? Because your role is to help them become grounded in facts. And throughout the remainder of this section, we're going to share with you a few means through which you can actually do this. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. We've actually created a workbook for you just to mirror up this video. So spend 5 to 10 minutes, go through the resource that you'll be able to download and access in the additional materials section of the course, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next clip.